I was going to read from Dor tonight, but instead I'm going to read from something that's very new, a very new manuscript, and it uses the tempo markings from certain composers as titles. It's sort of a dialogue, an intertextual dialogue with some classical composers and some which are modern. And I'm going to start because it's International Women's Day, and one of the most incredible women in my life was my mother, who died suddenly a few years ago and left the world an entirely different place. And I miss her every day. And she's the one who thought I should be a poet. I did everything else first. So in a lot of ways, I'm speaking to her. This is, to quote her, and before launching into some of these poems, this is the last text message she wrote to me. Sweetie, the kids look so cute in their swimsuits. I feel a little sick, maybe coming down with a chest cold. We'll take antibiotics and try to sleep it off. Tell Max to keep practicing piano. He is so good at it. I know you love me, but I love you more. I love you more. Last text message from Mom before she died in her sleep of pulmonary embolism over an ocean while visiting Amsterdam to meet up with Romanian family. The first poem is called Lochisimo con una sonorita aquatica, and it is the tempo marking in George Ionesco's Impressions d'Enfance. It means very sweet with an aquatic sound. Afternoon. You are my mom's maroon bedroom, the floor bearing the white balloon she'd blown for the kids. It was the last thing she blew up before dying, 2 days prior to the birthday party. Balloon waltzes over hardwood, humping the ground like lust at a disco, like dogs at a prom in the park. That soft dent in its side, the mark of deflation. Afternoon. I can't let her disappear with the lawn's ignored dewdrops. If this is all the yee-haw she left us. The rail comes closer. I devour 2 poems about a puppy's first turds until gumdrops taste like shit, a sort of freshness. I love puppies and dogs and not dying. Unfasten the rubber knot, draw the rest of her breath in my mouth. The next one is again from this strange tempo marking series that I'm totally trying. These are brand new and I'm trying them on everyone, and I'm hoping that they make some sense. This is from, this is Lebhaft marshmacy. I don't speak German, but it's Beethoven's Opus 101, Lively Like a March. Bury my face in the breast of fake lawns. Remember my head in the clouds on a creek where silver posts mark private properties, the stakes. We wade, rescue tadpoles from patches shallowed by drought. The littlest child divines godheads from dog-faced lilies. Her eyes depose rainbows around us. We spot the old man, his ponytail, yellower than a crayon labeled late sunshine. His legs rumbling the lip of the park. What is friendship after selfied speciation? The light lays golden eggs as we walk. An innocent cottonmouth watches us from a rock. Your hand creeps in my jeans, warming. Some animal who doesn't live here says stop. Okay. There's a strange one in here that I experiment a lot with something Tomas Salomon does, which is sort of address himself. So what happened after Mom died was there was a sense people would say my name and I wasn't sure who they were talking to and who they wanted to be okay. So I would say, if Alina was okay, sure, Alina's okay, but that wasn't me. So I would reassure people by sort of thinking of myself in the third person, the person they needed to be okay, which was not the person I knew anymore, or knew as myself, because being motherless changes the world entirely. So this is from a piece by Charles Ives called String Quartet No. 2, and it's Andante emasculata, which means slowly in an emasculated way. My heart can't tell the sun from his symbol. Alina eats twigs after noon has baked them. The sky is a microwave oven. Alina is the problem for his extended family. His cousin says vampire variant. His uncle says speckled Slavic hen baby Soviet. His aunt says Slavs done gone been their slaves in the old world. I'm still the alien you flagged back in high school. Alina is the fake one, the hired drum teaching retirees to dance in rubber pants. Whatever she touches grows molars and turns into mud. I said mud, everywhere. We could wrestle in it, but Alina eats fungi. My saliva salvages and solves. And this is not from that series. This is from a collection that is kind of doing the rounds right now. And it's after Ada Limon. It's called The Contract That Says Maybe Later. And the word in Romanian for tongue is limba. Pretend there is a contract related to funding, and your limba, that word meaning tongue and language at once, in yours, in your Dracula, etc., in your orphans, in your kids not wanting to habit the losing words. Their friends don't learn that music in high school. Never hear silly limba on the radio. But yes, orphans and Nadia and gymnastics and pedos. Go on, tell the stars you never believed them. Ditto neon, something Ovid, kinning exile. Report the warm Southern hospitality, those vanguards of religion who prayed for you. Who preys on immigrant families? You are so lucky we let you in this room, the one about Reagan rescuing your people from communism, now the one about communism being perfect. Maybe later there is time for the others. Skip the gift of your 100-stitched scars, the terror of uncitizened nuclear family, the generosity of privilege. We gave you, we made you, nuclear and nothing else. And the limba, or whatever you call it, whatever the market lacks, you teach your children how to carry a lodestar of alien verbs for rejection inside their little backs. I'm looking at time. Sorry, y'all. Sorry if you can ignore that. I think I'm going to do 2 more. I think that's what I have time for. Is that right? Is 2 more about right?
I think you have plenty of time, whatever you like.
So in Romanian, there's an expression, soare cu dinți, which means the sun has teeth. And it's like it's in the winter and it'll be really cold, but also sunny, and you end up with this sunburn, and it happens a lot. It happens to us whenever we go to Transylvania. So this is based on that expression, or you'll hear it. And the title is Andantic con scratchy, which is from Charles Ives. It means slowly like scratchy. Sun with teeth, we say in Romanian, of days with warm lips that mask frozen tongues. The left behindling, no one called me, among children who wait. An infant gets stuck between desk and the dream of running. I was crawling, exploring a homeland with bitty knees, as Mama slipped jewelry into folded coat pockets, buried 2 lives in one case, and left me. We were talking about how hard it is to pick poems, and I usually take my cue from hearing what everyone else reads, and so I'm just reading and not feeling sure of exactly what everyone wants to hear, but no worries, no worries. These are kind of dark, I'm realizing, you know, when you sit alone with your poems in a room, this is sort of a little bit dark. This one is for my husband, and it's from the same tempo marked series from a Mahler symphony that means at the pace of a leisurely countryman, a bit clumsy and very rough. I'm not going to try to read the German for it. I own 10 mutant fingers who score your face in heavy metal moonlight. I burn time to see you, inflame the night's swollen octaves. Even when I leave to write, to think, I need ink to run these eyes over your chill corpus. I save quiet to mark the depths of each breath you hold back in those brutalist purple pajamas. I am 4 car wheels shaving close to the curve where ear offers its byline to throat. Every separation is a link, too sparse to see in real life. I will take our child's invisible horse. Let the steed do the deed in my mind. So I left out these tempo mark pieces are also all 14 lines, which is sort of an internal constraint I set for myself. Sourdine durant toute la pièce, which means silence throughout the whole piece. This is Maurice Ravel. My machine stitches fast, makes motion seamless. For years, I hoard ideologies for the promise of safety. I party for a couch, a stranger's born American mouth. Acceptance is expensive, accumulative commas. For relief, the profits of insecurity sell memberships. For decades, I pay in rear labor and weekend secretariats. For in-laws, I become an oatmeal bran muffin, easy to excrete. My machine makes stitches seem less painful. Needles snap off when fabric gets thicker. For the anthem, I find music who speaks to my tinnitus, the bells burning inside my mind. My son plays the untuned organ, leaves 7 echoes for ghosts to clean up. A sound who keeps moving isn't quite finite. For once, I dance a hora in my mama's cornea. All right. Un poco andante malinconico, which is a little slow melancholy. This is by Enescu, who is a Romanian composer. Incendiary line, be my valence, my twine, my tangling beloved. Climb the poem perch to nest at the top. Meet me there, near the tippy, with 2 rodents. Listen, Scythians are edible. Books are the bricks who built this tower. No mammal can seduce me out of reading, of writing, of bolting the door from the inside. Oh, spire ogre, I wouldn't know if you locked it or invented a prison I've never once tried to leave, never sought the palace, cotillion. Nothing to hide aside from notebooks living under eyelids. At most, I have crawled on the windowsill to read Celan, naked, ungilded, alone. And the last one is Me to the Poem at the Warehouse. And this one is previously published. It was published in Apophenie, which publishes a lot of Eastern European writers. Hold on just a second while I yell at my daughter. Sorry, turn it down. Okay, sorry, y'all. My littlest is full of life and very vivacious, and she has lots of stories, which inspire poems. So this is from Apophenie, and it's me to the poem at the warehouse. And this is in Dor. It's the only one I've read from Dor, which is forthcoming in July. Me to the poem at the warehouse with a lot of different poets who are Eastern Europeans and other conversations in the air. Climb the hill of each other, staying hungry. You must sew your eyes open for this. Candlelight makes it look as if the hand goes numb before the throat. You are the color technician in a dream, warning the woman who was me before bleach. The unbleached inside will not listen. The opposite of ecstasy is automation. I feel something has passed. Something has shifted in the darkness like loose dentures. The words lather my scalp like a church who must service the male host first. Climb the hill of each other, of each hunger, like a show trial. Your head is the stake and the shakedown. Thank you so much for having me.